Every single day, we come across millions and trillions of bacteria, viruses, fungi who are trying to invade our body to make it its host. But why aren't we falling sick every time we come across a microorganisms? If you thought of immunity, you are spot on. Immunity is just not a simple protection wall. It is like a multi-layered intelligence, like the army at our border and the raw. So, our immunity is of two types: the innate immunity and the acquired or adaptive immunity. The term innate itself tells us that it is something which has come to us from birth, while acquired means that we try to get it over a period of time, or it's like more like a learned immunity. So, first, let us understand little about innate immunity before we dive deeper into acquired immunity, as this is like a background check. So, the innate immunity is like a non specific type of immunity which is active from our birth. So, whenever a invader, a microorganism enters our body, it doesn't care whether it's good, bad, whatever, or where does it belong or doesn't belong. It just attacks, it just fires. Okay. So first we have the four barriers, which are the important essential part of innate immunity. The first one is the physical barrier. So physical barrier consists first, the main thing is our skin, which acts like a fence. It does not allow microorganisms or invaders to enter our body. But even let's say a microorganism or an invader enters, then what? Then we have the next protective layer, which is the mucus coating, which is present in our respiratory tract. It's more like a biological flypaper, which just traps the invader into the sticky layer of the mucus before it enters the lungs. Then we have, let's say, a microorganism surpasses this physical barrier. Then we have the physiological barrier. So it is like a chemical warfare, which is present in our mouth, in our stomach. So we have some enzymes which are present, especially in our saliva, which is known as the lysozymes. So these actually dissolve the bacterial cell wall when they come in contact. Then we have the HCl, which is present in our stomach, which destroys the bacteria. Then we have cellular immunity. The cellular immunity is a non-specific type of defense, which is mainly led by the white blood cells. The specialized white blood cells are called as the PMNL, neutrophils, and the macrophages. So basically, what they do is called as phagocytosis. Basically, they engulf the entire invader and then they destroy it. They basically digest it and destroy it. Then we have the cytokines. Okay, let's say our body is being hijacked by a virus. Now, whenever there's a thief around, let's say, so somebody would scream, chore, 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 so that they alert the other people around. Similarly, these cytokines are like signals which, so they are messenger signals given out by the cells. They call as interferons, which allows or tells the next door cells that there's an infection going on. Just protect yourself, just resist yourself, close all the doors, and do not let the infection come out. But now, what if the invader surpasses all these innate responses? They're good quality responses, but what if they are surpassed? Then comes our hero, that is the acquired immunity. So, acquired immunity is more like a specific pathogen specific immunity, and it's more memory based. It's like the raw having all the information about the terrorist beforehand and how to tackle them. So there are two types of responses in acquired immunity. The first one is the primary response. So the first time you encounter a pathogen, the response is very slow, very low intensity, just trying to identify which is the pathogen, what technique, what warfare will be best to tackle this pathogen. But when the second time we are exposed, what happens is it knows that which technique will be helpful in killing this microorganism. So it will immediately give a lightning response. That is why you must have seen that if somebody has got chicken pox, they will not get it again. And this is the same principle of acquired immunity which is used in vaccination. So during the COVID time, what we did is we exposed our body to the COVID vaccine or the parts which will trigger the immunity. And hence, the second time somebody is exposed, they would not fall sick. So that's the same principle used in vaccination. Now, the main star of the acquired immunity is the lymphocytes. Now, what are lymphocytes? They're just a type of WBCs. Okay, white blood cells. So the two main types of lymphocytes which we are going to see, the B cell and the T cell. Now, why the terms B and T cells? These are the terms where they have matured. So where these cells have matured, based on them, they have got these terms. So the B lymphocytes, they form in the bone marrow and get matured in the bone marrow, hence the name B cells. They are the important role, they play an important role in handling the humoral immunity. Now, what is humoral immunity? Is it like a joke or something? No. It's a defense mechanism where our body protects itself through the blood and the blood fluid or the body fluids like the blood and the lymph. These cells stay in the fluid, that is in the lymph node or the lymph or the blood, and they produce an army or a weapon which is called as the antibody. So these antibodies, they bind to the specific pathogen and then they kill that pathogen or destroy it before it causes the disease. So some B cells, they will become memory cells so that next time we have faster response. Then we have the T cells. So the T cells, because it actually matures in the thymus, that is why it got the name T cell. So the thymus is present near the heart. So unlike the B cells, they do not produce any antibodies. They just act like direct fighters. So they will activate other immune cells, okay, and they will kill abnormal cells or infected cells. Now let's understand the weapon of the B cell, that is the antibody. Now our antibody is the main weapon, and it is, if you can see, it contains two layers or two sections or two chains. Okay, so this antibody is nothing but a protein structure. Okay, so it is called as H2L2. Now, why is it called H2L2? So because it has two heavy chains and two light chains, that is why. So there are different variable regions, okay, which are pathogen specific. So these are mainly like a lock and key. So there are different types of antibodies for different types of pathogens. So as I told you, a raw has a secret file for every kind of terrorist. So similarly, the antibodies are specific for particular kind of antigens. So you can see that there are these structures which are antigen specific. That means in that site, it will fit. So it's more like a lock and key structure. Now there are different types of antibodies. One is IgA, antibody A, which is found in the secretions. Then we have the IgG, which is found abundantly in our blood. Then we have IgM, which are like the first responders for any time an antigen comes in, and the IgE, which is mostly involved with allergens. So if somebody is allergic to something, for example, pollen, so their IgE level would rise. Now, this is about the antibodies or the antibody weapon. The next one, that is the T cells. Now, they have this called as the cell-mediated immunity response. So these are controlled by the T cells or the T lymphocytes. We know, unlike the B cells, the T cells do not produce any antibodies. Instead, they directly interact with the cell. Their most important function is to do the identity check, so of the body. For example, whenever you enter your school or college, there's a watchman who would ask you, do you have your identity card, to see that there is no other intruder coming. Similarly, the T cells, they identify the special surface markers on each of the cells. Our bodies contain surface markers. So they will look for those surface markers and they will distinguish from self to non-self. That means which is ours, which belongs to our body, and which does not belong to our body. So when the T cell detects a non-self, immediately it will decide that no, I have to attack now, I have to destroy it. This ability becomes very important for us to protect our body, but sometimes it can be problematic. Now, and let's see that there's some person who has received an organ transplantation. Now, the T cell would not be able to find those surface markers which are present in the self cell. Now, in such a case, what will happen? It will recognize those cells as non-self, and it will start attacking them, and hence leading to graft rejection or organ rejection. So that is why during organ transplantation, it is important that we first match the tissues, the blood group matching, everything is essential. And even after doing all this, sometimes the body can reject. So therefore, these patients are put on immunosuppressants so that they can prevent the T cell from attacking the new organ. So the cell-mediated immunity protects us from infections and abnormal cells. So the abnormal cells, like the cancer cells, are also attacked by the T cells. So therefore, it is essential. Now, you can see that how beautiful our immune system is, from the saliva to the memory cells or the T cells. Our body is like a masterpiece of biological engineering, which protects us constantly from the threats or the microorganisms. Now, I have a quick question for you. If someone's thymus is removed, which branch of immunity do they lose? Please put your answers in the comment. Thank you.